There's no such thing as a Palestinian Jew. Interesting. Shalom, I'm Ace, and I'm an Indo-Palestinian Jew descended from the Palestinian Jews and Old Yishuv of pre-48 Safad and Tiberias. And yes, we exist. Although I do understand why there's a narrative being pushed that we don't, because if Zionists acknowledge that Jewish Palestinians exist, they also have to admit that Zionism isn't actually about Jewish self-determination and Jewish safety for all Jews, and neither is the State of Israel. In fact, the only anti-Semitism I've personally faced is from Zionists, who, as you can see in a lot of my comment sections, call me a fake Jew, not a real Jew, not Jewish enough, my favourite, a capo. It's vitriolic, the type of hatred that they spread against me, simply because I have Palestinian heritage, and I find it very hypocritical, but I'm not surprised. This is in fact the true nature of Zionism, and it always has been. And just like Palestinians and Jews alike, Palestinian Jews are not a monolith. Not all Palestinian Jews were Old Yishuv, and not all Old Yishuv identified as Palestinian Jews. But there's a lot of people trying to tell us how we identify and how our families identify. We know who we are, I know who I am, and you don't get to tell us that. You don't get to try and rewrite our lived experiences. What is true is that a large majority of native Palestinian Jews were anti-Zionist, and they not only clashed with the new Yishuv and the Zionist settlers, but were actively persecuted by the Zionist terror militias. And if you want me to do a video on the history of Palestinian Jews, as well as modern Palestinian Jews, how we exist in society in the diaspora, and Palestinian clans that still practice Judaism to this day, hit that follow button and let me know in the comments below what it is you want me to cover, because there's so much history to go into, including Palestinian culture and Jewish culture that merged together and formed unique traditions. And I'm fascinated by it. I'm still learning every day. I don't have all the answers. That's why I love to do research. Reading is fundamental. And not all Jewish Palestinians are safe to be open about our identity. I'm very privileged that I can be. But for those who are like me and are able to speak out about their own heritage, please do so. Whether you want to just message me privately or post in the comments below sharing your story, we need to be more open about who we are, because the narrative is being pushed that Jews and Palestinians are mutually exclusive, that we are enemies, that's how it's always been and always has to be. When the opposite is true, we are kin, we have always been kin, we are ancestrally related. And that's something that I feel needs to be the forefront of our liberation movement. If we truly want peace, then we need to remember our roots. And there are many different types of Palestinian Jews. The most common that are in my comments section have one Palestinian parent and one Jewish parent, like my cousin, who has a Palestinian Christian father from the West Bank and Ashkenazi Jewish mother. I too am also from an interfaith family with a Christian father and a Jewish mother. Like I said, we're a melting pot. We're not a monolith, and everyone's identity is personal to them, and it is up to nobody else to tell us who we are. I get accused of lying about my heritage all the time, so let's put it to rest. Who were my family? I come from a very long line of Palestinian Jews, from my great-grandparents to my great-great-grandparents to my great-great-great-great-great-grandparents. They've always lived on the land for centuries, and we even have records of intermarriage with Palestinian Christians from the West Bank, specifically Bethlehem, who were originally descendants of the ancient Judeans, converted to Christianity over time while maintaining Jewish practices, and then eventually were adopted back into Jewish clans. So they re-assimilated, reintegrated, and then basically took back and reclaimed their culture, which was never really lost, but their traditions and their customs, including worshipping at synagogues, that was something that's often not taught about. And that is my hyperfixation at the moment, for me to go and learn and then share my findings with you. Ultimately, that identity, the heritage, the culture, it was preserved and passed down through the generations onto me. And it's an identity that I wear like a badge of honor. I am Palestinian, I am Jewish, and I am very proud of that dual heritage. Follow for part 2, and as always, knowledge is power, reading is fundamental. Shalom, and free Palestine.